The wind howled against the rusted signs of the old gas station. It was one of those raw January mornings in upstate New York where the cold didn't just touch your skin, it gripped your bones. Jessica Harmon sat in her dusty Corolla, hands clenched on the steering wheel, staring at the horizon through the cracked windshield. The engine coughed and then died. Again. Jessica was 45, a nurse recently laid off when the community hospital downsized. Divorced, childless, and with barely enough in savings to last a month, she was driving aimlessly, perhaps searching for clarity, or simply running from the unbearable silence of her apartment. Her heart ached with a loneliness that felt etched into her ribs. That's when she saw him. He was hunched on the sidewalk outside the station's convenience store, wrapped in what looked like every item of clothing he owned. The man was holding a cardboard sign, "Just need a little help." She glanced away, but when she looked again, he was staring at her, his eyes sharp, not dull, sad, but not defeated. Against every instinct screaming at her to keep moving, she stepped out of the car. "Cold morning," she said. "Feels colder when you've been out all night," the man replied, voice hoarse. She looked him over. Early 30s maybe, scraggly beard, clothes more threadbare than warm. But his eyes held something. Awareness. Dignity. "I'm Jessica," she said, extending a gloved hand. "Micah," he replied, hesitating, then shaking her hand gently. "Didn't expect anyone to stop." "I didn't either." They sat in the diner adjacent to the station, sharing the cheapest breakfast special on the menu. Jessica watched Micah as he inhaled the food with a careful kind of restraint. Not desperation, humility. "I used to be a music teacher," he said quietly. "Middle school orchestra." "What happened?" "Wife died in a car accident. I fell apart, lost the house, job, everything, couldn't get back on my feet." Jessica listened in stunned silence. She had assumed, well, she hadn't meant to assume anything. But his story sounded painfully familiar. Loss, isolation, collapse, different ingredients, same outcome. "I couldn't keep teaching," he continued. "Every violin reminded me of her. She played. It was our thing." Jessica nodded, the weight in her chest growing heavier. She knew what it was to lose identity, to have your past blur until you weren't sure who you were anymore. He was quiet a moment. "You don't have to do this." "Do what?" "Buy me food. Sit with me. Talk." "Maybe I do," she said. Jessica wasn't impulsive, at least she hadn't been in years, but that day, she used what little she had left to get Micah a motel room for a week. Micah protested. "I can't let you do that." "It's just a room," she said, but both of them knew it wasn't. For Jessica, it was the first time in months she had felt useful. For Micah, it was the first time in years he had a door to close behind him. She brought him a small bag of toiletries and some clean clothes from a thrift store. The way he thanked her, like each item was a treasure, brought tears to her eyes. That night, back in her apartment, Jessica stared at the ceiling. She should have felt foolish, nervous, or afraid. But instead, for the first time in ages, she felt right. Micah began cleaning himself up. He shaved, trimmed his hair, and with Jessica's help applied for jobs. Anything to get back on his feet. Day labor, retail, he didn't care. One afternoon, Jessica returned from the grocery store to find a note taped to her door. He's not who you think he is. Be careful. There was no signature. Jessica's hands trembled. Doubt crept in like a slow fog. Was she being played? That night she confronted Micah. Someone left a note. About you. His face fell, then hardened. I know who it was. Who? A guy I used to sleep near. He didn't like that I left. He told me kindness was a lie. Said anyone who helped was just setting me up. Micah's voice cracked. I'm trying, Jess, I really am. She stared into his eyes again. That same look, clear, aware, hurting. I believe you, she said. Micah found work at a local grocery store stocking shelves. It wasn't glamorous, but it was something. He'd walk a mile each way in the snow just to make his shift. Jessica checked in with him often, over coffee, text messages, quiet dinners. But something about helping him was healing her too. She returned to the hospital, not for a job, but to volunteer. She couldn't stay idle anymore. She missed people. She missed being needed. One night she got a call from Micah. I'm at the ER, he said. I got jumped on my way home. Jessica raced to the hospital. Micah lay in bed, bruised and bloodied, but not broken. They said I didn't belong in their neighborhood, he muttered. Jessica held his hand. You belong here. During Micah's recovery, Jessica brought him to a community center where she volunteered. There, in a dusty corner, stood a battered old piano. You play? She asked. He hesitated. Not in a long time. Try. Micah sat down, and at first it was hesitant. A few broken notes. Then, like a dam bursting, music poured from his fingers. A soft, haunting melody that made everyone in the room turn and listen. Tears slid down Jessica's cheeks. It was beautiful. Pure. Alive. The center's director approached them afterward. We host music nights. We'd love to have him. Micah agreed reluctantly. That night he played for 20 people. By the next week it was 50. Jessica came home one day to find a letter in her mailbox. Inside was a check for $10,000 and a note. You helped my brother when he needed it most. He's clean now, working and alive. Please use this to keep doing what you're doing. Grateful, sister. Tears blurred Jessica's vision. Micah wasn't just changing, he was a ripple, touching others in ways she hadn't seen. She used the money to expand the community center's programs. Music therapy, housing aid, a new food pantry. Hope was blooming. Micah prepared for his biggest performance yet, a fundraiser recital at the local auditorium. Posters were made, tickets sold out. The town was buzzing. Jessica watched from the front row, her heart full. He stepped onto the stage in a donated suit, the lights casting a warm glow around him. When he played, silence fell like snow. Every note was a story. Pain, yes. But also healing. Grace. At the end, he stood, eyes glassy. I was lost once, he said. But someone believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Jessica Harmon gave me a second chance, and I want to pay that forward. The room erupted in applause. Jessica wept openly. Months passed. The recital raised over $50,000 for the community center. Micah became a music teacher again, this time at a center that helped youth from tough backgrounds. He taught violin, piano, and self-worth. Jessica went back to nursing part-time and co-founded a nonprofit with Micah, second verse. Its mission: help people who've hit rock bottom write their next chapter. One day, she received a message from a woman in Detroit. My son heard Micah play. He stopped using. Signed up for your program. Thank you. The ripples had become waves. 10 years later, Jessica sat in the front row again, this time at a national conference. Micah was being honored for his work with at-risk youth and music therapy. I'd be dead without her, he said into the microphone. Jessica Harmon didn't just give me a room. She gave me back my name, my music, my life. The crowd rose to their feet, applauding, many in tears. Afterward, Jessica walked the halls of the hotel, overwhelmed. A young man stopped her. "You're the Jessica?" he asked. She smiled. "Depends who's asking." My brother went through second verse. He's okay now. Thank you. He hugged her. Jessica stood in that embrace, feeling the weight of every choice, every doubt, every moment when she almost didn't stop the car that day, and then she whispered to herself, "This is what love looks like."